0 At the same time that Yin Zhuxuan's furious voice resounded across the heavens and earth, the Xiao was also flustered and exasperated. Its body shot out like an arrow towards the earth-fire profound crystal beast. The purple-golden light in its eyes was overbearing, like a peerless king. Flames wrapped around its body, and like a flaming meteor, it shot towards the earth-fire profound crystal beast. The black-robed person extended his withered arms when he saw this. He was just about to control the earth-fire profound crystal beast when Xiao Yan had already sensed it. The origin monarch chi within his body surged, and the first form of the White Tiger arts, White Tiger Spirit Sealing Flash, was unleashed. All of a sudden, Xiao Yan's speed increased explosively. He was just like a ferocious tiger that had descended from the mountain, roaring as he arrived. Bang! The white tiger phantom behind him. It was as if a hungry tiger was pouncing on its prey, furious towards the 9 heavens. The black-robed man's expression changed slightly. Although the power of the White Tiger Spirit Sealing Flash was not worth mentioning, the terrifying aura contained within it made him extremely alarmed. Damn it! The black-robed person's tone was cold. In a flash, he had already retreated 100 meters away. Black light surged on his 10 fingers. In an instant, the black light had also transformed into a large net that instantly enveloped Xiao Yan. Buzz. Following the buzzing of the black light, Xiao Yan had already disappeared into the sky. There are countless experts who have died in this shattered star canyon. Even if you become stronger, you will still be trapped here. The man in black sneered. In a fight between Emperor Cultivation level warriors, it would only take a moment for the victor to be decided. Without Xiao Yan's interference, he could control the earth-fire profound crystal beast with all his mind. In this way, killing Jade Fairy and that red-haired little guy would be a piece of cake. Black light flashed in front of his eyes. Xiao Yan immediately sensed it. This move again made it impossible for him to defend himself. Back then, he had been enveloped by the black light. He had used all of his techniques against Nether Imperial Consort Satsuma before he was able to defeat her. Now that he was trapped in this place, he did not know what kind of unknown enemy he would encounter. Thinking about it, this was one of the Ji Wu's mysterious techniques. As long as there was a place where there were dead people, they could summon their souls. Although their strength was far from what they were when they were alive, they did not dare to underestimate them at all. At the same time that his thoughts landed, Xiao Yan had already appeared in the vast and endless space. In front of his eyes, following the flash of black light, a dense crowd of people had already appeared in front of him. There were both old and young people in this group. Xiao Yan could even sense a trace of soul energy fluctuation from some of them. Clearly, these people were alchemists when they were alive. The moment Xiao Yan appeared, these people looked at him with lifeless eyes. After which, they let out a low roar, and like a wild beast that had lost its intelligence, they rushed forward like a tide. With his experience in dealing with Nether Imperial Consort Satsuma, Xiao Yan didn't have any fear towards these souls who were mostly at the Monarch Emperor level. He raised his head and unleashed a monstrous energy that soared into the sky. The flames on his body soared and rushed into the crowd. After wrapping Xiao Yan in the yin spirit space, the man in black smiled coldly. He turned his eyes towards the direction of the intense battle. With the help of the Xiao, the earth-fire profound crystal beast was entangled. Jade Fairy freed her hand and Yin Zhuxuan instantly fell into a disadvantageous position. Both of them were Emperor Cultivation level warriors. Yin Zhuxuan was almost no match for Jade Fairy. Kai! A black light flashed on the tip of his finger. The black-robed man's blood-red eyes looked at the earth-fire profound crystal beast. The latter immediately roared towards the sky. Within his blood-red eyes, it was as if the flowing blood beads had frozen. The originally ferocious attack became even more fierce and fierce. The sharp claws slammed down, causing the space to hiss. The golden light on its enormous body was like layers of scales. The golden spikes on its scales kept shooting out, causing even the Xiao to feel some fear. The berserk earth-fire profound crystal beast had lost all its consciousness. All the attacks from the Xiao landed on its body. It could not feel any pain at all. It was under the control of the black-robed man. After getting rid of the entanglement of the Xiao, he attacked Jade Fairy who was standing at the side. Jade Fairy obviously did not dare to compete with him and had no choice but to dodge. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yin Zhuxuan also narrowly dodged Jade Fairy's attack. He, I will let you all see how terrifying the earth fire profound crystal beasts after going berserk are. The black-robed man stood in the void far away, his fingers moving. In an instant, the earth fire profound crystal beast seemed to have received an order. He let out a low roar, and golden light burst out from his body. It was like a myriad of golden swords, shooting out in all directions. At the same time, blood flowed out from his neck. Stimulated by the golden light, it gathered at the corner of the earth fire profound crystal beast's mouth. The latter roared, and in an instant, a blood-red sharp blade shot out from its mouth, as if it had pierced through the void. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of Jade Fairy. The dense blood-colored aura on the blood-colored sharp blade. It caused the pretty faces of the surrounding Jade Fairy to change drastically. Great Yin Phoenix technique, Yin Phoenix. In a split second, Jade Fairy also decisively cried out. She gently waved her hand and an endless dark soul chi spread out from within her body. At the critical moment when the blood-colored sharp blade was about to approach, an endless amount of yin chi instantly wrapped around it and delayed the blood-colored sharp blade's attack. Before Jade Fairy could heave a sigh of relief, a sharp rushing wind sound had already resounded behind her. Yin Zhuxuan naturally would not miss this opportunity. His body flashed and arrived behind Jade Fairy. The chi from his entire body surged as he threw a punch towards Jade Fairy. Wherever the fist wind passed, the space distorted and hissed. Boom! Yin Zhuxuan's attack was timely. The instant Jade Fairy used the great Yin Phoenix technique, there was no reaction at all. Although she tried her best to dodge, her back was still hit. Her delicate body trembled and a mouthful of fresh blood was spat out. As for the blood-red sharp blade, it was wrapped by yin qi and gradually dissipated. The yin qi turned into a palm-sized black phoenix. It faced the sky and cried out. It was like a black arrow that cut through the void and shot towards the earth fire profound crystal beast. After sending Jade Fairy to the ground with a single strike, Yin Zhuxuan let out a vicious laugh. He had finally vented some of his resentment. Immediately, he looked at the black-robed person in the distance. A trace of fear flashed across his eyes. He did not expect that this fellow's methods would be so strange. Although he had heard earlier that he could control the heavenly beast, he had witnessed it with his own eyes. He was still extremely shocked. Under his control, the earth fire profound crystal beast had completely turned into a killing machine. The blood-colored sharp blade just now. Yin Zhuxuan could clearly see that the earth fire profound crystal beast could actually use a forbidden technique that could consume one's life force. Puff! The black phoenix instantly penetrated through the earth fire profound crystal beast's chest, causing a bloody glow to splash out. However, the latter acted as though he did not hear it. He did not even feel a trace of pain. He turned around and charged explosively towards the Xiao. What a frightening fellow! A cold glint surged within Yin Zhuxuan's eyes. Immediately, he looked at Jade Fairy below. He let out a ferocious laugh. His body paused in midair before he rushed down explosively. Jade Fairy's pretty face was pale. She looked at the earth fire profound crystal beast with disbelief. She looked around but did not see Xiao Yan. Jade Fairy frowned and panicked. Go to hell! Yin Zhuxuan's expression was ferocious. The black qi on his hands surged and turned into a stream of gang qi that cut through the space and whistled down. Damn it! How dare you be so arrogant in front of this young master? Seeing Jade Fairy being seriously injured, the Xiao was instantly dissatisfied. The anger on its small face was overflowing. The purple gold light in its eyes suddenly moved and it was as if a dragon had appeared. After which, its hair suddenly expanded and in an instant, its red hair reached its waist. Every strand of hair was burning with flames. Behind him, the phantom of a huge dragon was faintly discernible, and it shook the sky. You smelly thing! You're courting death! Seeing the earth fire profound crystal beast rushing towards him, the Xiao furiously roared. It stretched out its small hand, and in an instant, its aura skyrocketed. The image of a dragon coiled around its small fist, and with a single punch, the space collapsed. The roar of a dragon shook the heavens, and the earth split apart. What? Upon seeing the changes in the Xiao, the black-robed man's expression changed dramatically. With this punch, even the earth fire profound crystal beast's body would fall apart. Shua, shua, shua! The black-robed man hurriedly stretched out his withered arms. Black light surged from his 10 fingers as he was about to give the order. Boom! Light flashed behind him. Before the black-robed person could react, a huge ruler had already smashed down and ruthlessly struck the ladder. The black-robed man was sent flying backwards. The black robes on his body were all shattered, and black blood rose in the air. The blue flame ruler in Xiaoyan's hand gradually appeared. Although the clothes on his body were tattered, his qi and blood were completely gone. In the yin soul space, relying on his aura and intimidation, nearly 100 yin spirits were easily defeated. Without the order of the black-robed man, the earth-fire profound crystal beast fearlessly rushed towards the Xiao. The latter's face was pale as a sheet. With a swing of his dragon fist, a dragon's roar shook the heavens and the earth, causing the mountains and rivers to collapse and flow backwards. One with a punch, the image of a dragon soared into the sky, causing the heavens and earth to change color. At this moment, the Xiao was like an azure sky, shattering the void and smashing towards the earth-fire profound crystal beast. Woo! When Xiaoyan saw the sudden eruption of the Xiao, he was shocked as well. This force was truly overbearing. With a punch, the wind and clouds changed drastically. Crack! Yin Juxuan's charging figure suddenly stopped. He looked at the sky with a shocked expression. At that spot, the phantom image of a huge dragon that was 1,000 feet in size soared into the sky. In the phantom image, a red-haired little boy waved his fist and punched at the unconscious earth-fire profound crystal beast. This force! Yin Juxuan's face instantly turned pale. His eyes swept across the place not far away. The black-robed man who was sent flying by Xiaoyan also stopped. The robe on his body had been torn apart, revealing his pale face. His red eyes sparkled, revealing an indescribable shock. Jade Fairy endured the weakness in her body and quickly got up to leave Yin Juxuan. She looked up and saw the appearance of the Xiao. Her beautiful eyes were filled with shock. Boom! A loud sound that seemed to split the sky and earth suddenly rang out. It was as if the heaven and earth were shaking. Smoke rose into the sky. After that, a miserable cry was heard. The huge body of the earth-fire profound crystal beast flew out from the smoke. Along the way, blood kept flowing out and there was no breath left. So arrogant. After the smoke dissipated, the Xiao's face turned pale as it looked at the earth-fire profound crystal beast that had crashed into the ground. It grinned, and a purple golden light flickered in its eyes. After that, it quickly disappeared. The red hair that reached its waist also quickly returned to normal. The intimidating aura around its body also disappeared. Who? The fire wings on Xiaoyan's back shook as it arrived beside the Xiao. It grabbed the latter, who was about to faint, into its embrace. When the Xiao saw Xiaoyan, it laughed heartlessly. It pouted and said, "How annoying. I'm going to sleep for a few more days. Don't die." As it spoke, its body gradually disappeared. It turned into a ball of flame and entered Xiaoyan's body. Xiaoyan felt a sharp pain in his heart when he saw this. It seemed like this attack had completely hurt the foundation of the Xiao. Hey, that brat has disappeared. Yin Juxuan couldn't help but be overjoyed when he saw the Xiao turn into flames and disappear. Although it was just that he didn't know where it had gone, the current situation was extremely advantageous to them. Jade Fairy was seriously injured, so she could only exert half of her strength. As for Xiaoyan, with the mysterious and unpredictable strength of the black-robed man, even if he couldn't kill him, he could still block the attack for a moment. What a pity. I reckon that kid is also seriously injured. Now, what else can you do? Yin Juxuan looked down at Jade Fairy and smiled coldly. His qi soared and he prepared the powerful monarch skill to kill Jade Fairy with a single strike. Have you forgotten that I am also an alchemist? Jade Fairy smiled when she heard him. She gently waved her hand and wiped away the dust in front of her. Then, with a solemn expression, a powerful soul force suddenly shot into the sky from between her brows. In terms of momentum, it was no weaker than the qi of an emperor cultivation warrior. The smile on Yin Juxuan's face froze instantly. After that, he let out a cold laugh and said with a ferocious expression, "What soul force? It's all fake. Only great strength is the way to go." After saying that, the black spiritual qi on Yin Juxuan's hands surged, and his speed increased once again. He then rushed towards Yin Juxuan. Jade Fairy's expression was calm, and the corner of her mouth revealed a trace of a smile. Did this fellow really think that the soul power of an alchemist was useless besides concocting pills? Just as the battle between Yin Juxuan and Jade Fairy was about to erupt, Xiao Yan also cast his gaze towards the black-robed man. The latter's face was pale, but his eyes were filled with a bloody light. It was quite strange. He looked at the ground with an ugly expression. The earth-fire profound crystal beast's corpse was lying on the ground. There was no trace of qi left. I let you escape last time. This time, don't even think about leaving alive. Xiao Yan's expression was cold. Previously, when he was in Xiao clan, he had learned about the scariness of Ji Yu Wu from the Great Elder. Although this guy in front of him was also a Ji Yu Wu, his strength was still very weak. Capturing him might allow him to obtain some important information about Ji Yu Wu. Shameless boasting. Black Robe stuck out his scarlet tongue and licked the blood from the corner of his mouth. He looked at Xiao Yan with a gloomy expression and said, "Your strength has indeed improved compared to last time. However, it's still a pipe dream to ask me to stay. Then let's give it a try." Xiao Yan sneered. He clenched the blue flame ruler in his hand tightly. The fire wings behind him shook and rushed towards the black-robed man. Heavenly demonic beast finger. The black-robed person's expression changed slightly when he saw Xiao Yan rushing over without saying anything. He smiled in a ferocious manner. A blood-red light flashed in his eyes. He extended his hand. His 5 fingers were black and a huge black finger suddenly appeared. It pressed down on Xiao Yan like it was breaking through the blue sky. White Tiger Spirit Sealing Flash. White Tiger Sky Shattering Strike. The moment the huge black finger pressed down, the white tiger behind Xiao Yan leapt. In an instant, it had already left the attack range of the huge finger and approached the black-robed man. The white tiger let out an ear-splitting roar. In a flash, almost at the same time, Xiao Yan unleashed the second style of white tiger arts smoothly. Another huge white tiger phantom appeared in an instant. As the white tiger roared, the void shattered. 2 consecutive attacks that contained a tremendous force caused the black-robed man's facial expression to change drastically. Before he could use his fierce attack, he was struck by the 2 white tiger phantoms. Immediately, his body trembled, and his originally solid body became somewhat transparent. Cough. The shriveled arms of the black-robed person were lifted with great effort, blocking the remaining force of the attack. However, his face was like a blank piece of paper, appearing even more frightening. On the other side, Yin Juxuan, who was full of confidence, seemed to have suffered a heavy blow under Jade Fairy's soul attack. He was wrapped by Jade Fairy's vast soul. His body seemed to be stuck in a quagmire, and it was almost impossible for him to move an inch. The high-intensity use of soul energy also made Jade Fairy's pretty face pale. She felt dizzy in front of her eyes, but compared to Yin Juxuan, who was currently suffering from soul pain, Jade Fairy felt much more relaxed. Don't look down on soul energy. Not only is he used to refine medicine pills, he can also easily kill people. Jade Fairy sneered and looked at Yin Juxuan, who was standing not far away with a ferocious expression. Her voice was clear and cold. Yin Juxuan's face turned exceptionally red because of his anger. When he heard Jade Fairy's words, he gritted his teeth and roared towards the sky. However, he was unable to get rid of the entanglement of his soul power. After fighting with the Ji Yu Wu for a while, Xiao Yan also discovered the weakness of the former. The ability of Qi and other similar abilities seemed to be able to limit their strength, and it also caused them great damage. Seeing the sneer on Xiao Yan's face, the color on the face of the black-robed man changed. Immediately, he made a prompt decision and spat out a mouthful of blood essence. The moment the blood essence was spat out, the life force in the black-robed man's body was rapidly drained, like a broken river. Swoosh! Before Xiao Yan's bitingly cold attack could reach him, the black-robed man had already slowly dissipated and escaped from this place once again. Damn it! After sending the Ji Yu Wu away, Xiao Yan's expression was cold. Just as he was about to pick up the earth-fire profound crystal beast's heavenly core, his expression suddenly changed, and he looked off into the distance. The battle between the 2 of them had already reached a fever pitch. What a powerful soul force! Sensing Jade Fairy's vast soul force, Xiao Yan couldn't help but be shocked. They were both alien realm soul warriors, but compared to Jade Fairy, his soul was nothing. Soul Blade. A cold voice was heard from Jade Fairy's mouth. In the next moment, an invisible soul energy rushed towards Yin Juxuan like a transparent blade. In the next moment, Yin Juxuan's left arm was chopped off. In an instant, Yin Juxuan's miserable roar resounded throughout the entire canyon. The broken arm shot up into the sky, bringing with it a rain of blood. Yin Juxuan's face turned pale. He immediately sealed the wound with the origin monarch chi, causing a piercing pain to penetrate into his bone marrow. Even though he was an emperor cultivation warrior, he still couldn't withstand the pain of the broken arm. Bastard! Yin Juxuan's eyes turned red. He had seen the disappearance of the black-robed man. Without the help of the earth-fire profound crystal beast, he wouldn't have any chance of winning if he were to fight Jade Fairy alone. Is it painful? The pain I have suffered in the past 2 years is much heavier than this. Jade Fairy looked at the screaming Yin Juxuan and said calmly. Her tone was filled with a cold killing intent. The fire wings effect gradually disappeared. Xiao Yan also landed on the ground and looked at the battle between Jade Fairy and Yin Juxuan. He wisely chose not to interfere in the battle. Killing the enemy himself was a kind of relief to his mental state. Buzz! Jade Fairy gently waved her hand. Just as she was about to kill Yin Juxuan, who had lost the ability to resist, a strange buzzing sound suddenly sounded in the canyon. In the next moment, they saw endless rays of light shooting into the sky from the depths of the canyon. The rays of light were tens of thousands of meters long and covered the sky. Within the rays of light, there was a terrifying evil aura. The evil aura was buzzing, as if it was going to break through the rays of light. What's going on? Xiao Yan turned around and looked towards the depths of the canyon. The evil aura was pervading the air, and it seemed like it was going to corrode the rays of light. That's the depths of the canyon. Could it be an abyss? Jade Fairy's beautiful eyes revealed a shocked expression. Ever since the sect that entered the abyss 10,000 years ago, the abyss had never appeared again. In this kind of scene, Jia, all of a sudden, the sound that resounded between the heavens and earth rang out from within the baleful aura. It was as though the howls and howls of ghosts and wolves could be heard. The huge sound waves caused the surrounding mountain rocks to turn into dust. Swoosh! While Jade Fairy was distracted, Yin Juxuan found an opportunity. He ignored the injuries in his body and shook his body. He had already turned into a ray of light and fled. In the blink of an eye, he had disappeared into the horizon. Only his venomous words resounded. Jade Fairy, just you wait. Seeing Yin Juxuan escape, Jade Fairy frowned and shook her head. She didn't chase after him. Instead, she looked into the depths of the canyon. The sudden change in the canyon was obviously more interesting to her than Yin Juxuan. Pavilion Master Yu, that guy? Xiao Yan came to Jade Fairy's side and looked in the direction where Yin Juxuan had fled. He was puzzled and puzzled. Don't worry, he already has the poison of the great Yin burial art in his body. It will be very difficult for him to improve in the future. Jade Fairy faintly smiled and did not take it to heart. There is a sudden change in the abyss in the canyon. I don't know what happened. His eyes turned towards the depths of the canyon and looked at the multicolored light that filled the sky. The evil aura within was oppressive. Even in this place, one could feel the terrifying aura that could shake one's heart. Swish! As the two of them were conversing, a sudden change occurred in the sky once again, and an endless amount of aura suddenly erupted, as if it was about to break through the encirclement of the multicolored light. At the same time, within the multicolored light, a huge hand that could cover the sky and cover the sun slowly stretched out. It was as if it could pluck the sun and moon and pinch the stars. The moment the giant hand appeared, Jade Fairy's originally pale face instantly became even paler. Xiao Yan was also shocked. He remembered what Jade Fairy had told him before. After that super sect entered the abyss, a giant hand stretched out, causing countless experts to fall. Now, that giant hand actually appeared again. Hurry up and leave, we can't stay here for long. Jade Fairy cried out in a lovely voice towards Xiao Yan. Her lovely body flashed and she arrived beside the earth-fire profound crystal beast. She waved her delicate hand and kept the latter's huge body into the storage ring. The origin monarch chi on her back gathered and 2 pure white monarch chi wings spread out, shooting towards the outside of the canyon. Xiao Yan swallowed a fire wings pill when he heard Jade Fairy's voice. In the next moment, the flame on his back rolled. The flame wings carried an expert as they shot into the sky and followed closely behind Jade Fairy. Boom! Not long after the two of them left, the giant hand in the multicolored light suddenly clenched. In an instant, the sky above the canyon seemed to collapse, and hundreds of thousands of meters of spatial cracks spread out, revealing the pitch-black space, causing people's hair to stand on end. Wang! As the giant hand displayed its ferocity, the multicolored light that filled the sky was not weak at all. Beams of light surged out from the abyss. Within the light pillars, it was as if there were giant monoliths on the giant monoliths. The strange patterns on the giant monoliths emitted endless brilliance and shot into the glow. In an instant, the evil aura that filled the air dissipated. The giant hand trembled and finally fell down powerlessly. At the same time, an indistinct furious roar was heard from the deep abyss. Star Sky Tablet, when this emperor comes out, I will take you as a sacrifice to the heavens. The furious roar gradually disappeared. The multicolored light that filled the sky also gradually disappeared. The entire canyon had finally regained its peace. Only the many valleys that had turned into dust had declared the terror that they had just experienced. Jade Fairy only stopped after she had left the star-severing valley. She glanced back with lingering fear and looked into the distance. The unusual change in the canyon had already disappeared. Immediately, she exhaled a breath of air. The injuries within her body could no longer endure and were about to fall. Xiao Yan reacted quickly. With a flash, he arrived in front of Jade Fairy and supported her. After a great battle with Yin Jushwen, she was ambushed by him. Finally, she used her spiritual strength to break one of Yin Jushwen's arms. Jade Fairy's mind was greatly exhausted. At this moment, she was supported by Xiao Yan. Exhaustion surged all over her body and she fainted. Xiao Yan supported Jade Fairy. He looked around and arrived at a flat stone surface that was paved with huge rocks. After gently placing the ladder on the stone surface, the pain within his body immediately erupted. The sequela of the heavenly monarch fire-burning body was the endless heat in his body, as if he was being burned by a raging flame. Xiao Yan glanced at the unconscious Jade Fairy and sighed slightly. He still did not know how the injuries of the Xiao were. He had predicted Yin Jushwen's arrival during this hunt, but he did not expect that he would be related to the Ji Wu. Luckily, the Xiao suddenly erupted this time. Otherwise, Jade Fairy, who was only an emperor cultivation, wouldn't be able to force Yin Jushwen to retreat. Even killing the Earth-Fire Profound Crystal Beast would be an extravagant request. With the monarch flame protecting his body, Xiao Yan sat down cross-legged. He didn't dare to fully concentrate on his cultivation. He was now in the vast desert, and danger was everywhere. Buzz. While Xiao Yan was trying his best to concentrate, a ray of light flashed on the forehead of the unconscious Jade Fairy. In the next moment, the light flowed through her body, and her pale face turned slightly better. Xiao Yan was somewhat shocked as he watched Jade Fairy's injuries quickly recover. He could not help but click his tongue in wonder. What kind of technique was this? The speed at which she recovered from her injuries was even faster than when she consumed medicine pills. Jade Fairy slowly opened her eyes and saw Xiao Yan beside her. She then looked at herself and touched her forehead before smiling helplessly. Standing up from the rock, Jade Fairy looked in the direction of the segmented star canyon and her eyes were filled with seriousness. I heard that there is a peerless monster in the abyss of the broken star canyon. It seems that the rumors are true. After a long time, Jade Fairy finally sighed. Xiao Yan fell silent after hearing what she said. 10,000 years ago, the super sect was completely wiped out in the abyss. This was enough to prove that it wasn't a simple sect. Today, they had finally witnessed it. With the unparalleled ferocity of that giant hand, not to mention monarch cultivation, even a true heavenly sovereign wouldn't have that kind of power. Forget it. That kind of thing isn't something we can discuss. Although some changes had occurred this time, it was still a good thing. I've still managed to collect the Earth-Fire Profound Crystal Beasts from the Earth-Fire Profound Crystal Beast. Jade Fairy turned her head around and smiled sweetly. With a wave of her hand, the enormous corpse of the Earth-Fire Profound Crystal Beast appeared on the surface of the rock. Its nearly 10-meter large body was filled with shock. Looking at the corpse of the Earth-Fire Profound Crystal Beast, Xiao Yan could not help but smile. With this metal-attributed heavenly core, the 3 requirements of the Holy Rank trial were finally completed. 2. The Holy Rank trial required 15 years. Up until now, Xiao Yan had been in Forest Domain for no more than 89 years. As for the Yunluo Academy, they were not far away. Finally, It was time for him to reap the rewards after nearly 10 years of hard work. Xiao Yan held back the excitement in his heart, and his eyes dimmed. The main reason why he was able to save so much time was because of Elder Yi's help. Back then, in the illusory realm set up by Elder Yi in Forest Domain, he had used 1 year's time to achieve results that he would need several years to achieve in the outside world. At the last moment, Elder Yi used his powerful soul power. He directly teleported himself to the Falling Rock City not far from the border of Forest Domain. This time, it was enough to save nearly a year or two. Xiao Yan shook his head and suppressed the trace of discomfort that spread in his heart. He squatted down and wrapped his hands with the monarch flame. He found a special spot on the earth fire profound crystal beast's head, and with a kai sound, he took out the heavenly core on its head. The moment the heavenly core appeared, the origin monarch chi in the surrounding space immediately became wild and violent. It crazily surged and surged towards it. The golden heavenly core sparkled with a golden light and was filled with a powerful might. Luckily, this big guy isn't a monarch emperor level heavenly beast. If he had evolved into an emperor cultivation and transformed into a human body, even I wouldn't dare face him head on. Jade Fairy looked at the bloody corpse with her beautiful eyes and smiled. Her tone was filled with emotion. Xiao Yan nodded slightly as if he had thought of something. He suddenly looked at Xiao Yan and Jade Fairy and said in a deep voice, "Pavilion Master Yu, do you know about the Soul Demon?" Soul Demon? Jade Fairy heard this and frowned slightly. Her eyes flashed with a thoughtful look. She did not have any clue about this unfamiliar name for a while. Xiao Yan kept the earth fire profound crystal beast's heavenly core into his storage ring. After hesitating for a moment, he kept the corpse. After all, it was in existence at the peak of the middle rank heavenly beast. It was likely that its physical body would be extremely useful. After doing all of this, Xiao Yan looked at Jade Fairy. The reason why he mentioned the Soul Demon was because he had inquired about the Jiu Wu from the first elder of the Xiao clan when he was in the Xiao clan. Even with the latter's knowledge, he had never heard of it. It was likely that some people with rich experience would know about the name of the Soul Demon. Jade Fairy gently nodded her head under Xiao Yan's gaze and said, "Yes, Soul Demon. I have heard of it. According to legend, during the ancient times, the Soul Demon wreaked havoc. Later on, an extraordinary expert appeared. The entire great world stirred up a bloody storm. Finally, the entire Soul Demon clan was killed or sealed. Only then did the chaos of war subside." After hearing Jade Fairy's few words, Xiao Yan nodded slightly. After musing for a moment, he asked, "Who is that 9th disciple?" Jade Fairy looked at Xiao Yan with some surprise when she heard this. After pondering for a moment, she said with some uncertainty, "The so-called 9 disciples are the 9 kings of the Soul Demon clan back then. They command tens of millions of soul demons to fight against the entire great world. They can be considered peerless. If I remember correctly, this star-severing mountain range is one of the 9 disciples that fell, and its name is Tai Chi." Tai Chi? Xiao Yan nodded slightly when he heard this, and led millions of people to become enemies with the entire great world. These 9 disciples were truly bold. However, at that time, the Nether Domain was wreaking havoc. The Soul Demon and the Nether Domain's snake rats were together, trying to control the entire great world. In the end, the ancient expert attacked. This war could be considered to have calmed down. Speaking up to this point, Jade Fairy was also amazed. This level of battle was already beyond her imagination. "Oh right, you suddenly asked you about the Soul Demon. What do you mean? Could it be that fellow is a Soul Demon?" After regaining her senses, Jade Fairy suddenly looked at Xiao Yan and spoke in a deep voice. Xiao Yan smiled bitterly and nodded his head. "They are now called Jiu Wu." "What?" Jade Fairy's smiling face turned pale when she heard Xiao Yan's words. She took a deep breath and forced herself to calm down. Jade Fairy patted her proud chest with lingering fear. No wonder that fellow can control the earth fire profound crystal beast. It is actually a remnant of the Soul Demon clan. After 1,000,000 years, are they going to come out and cause trouble for the great world again? Pausing, Jade Fairy gritted her teeth and said, "Yin Jushwen, this fellow actually colluded with the Soul Demon. If I had known earlier, I would have killed him no matter what." After hearing Jade Fairy's angry words, Xiao Yan smiled bitterly. It was just like what the Great Elder had said. Even though so many years had passed, the expression of those who knew about it still changed when they talked about it. Soul Demon, a cancer in the great world. Jade Fairy's eyes dimmed. Although she had never experienced that tragic era, it could be seen from the ancient books that in that era, the Soul Demon had caused the entire great world to be in a foul mood. Although there were only tens of millions of clansmen, however, their strange ability to control the experts who had died in various eras and occupy many realms was unparalleled. If not for the fact that the 9 disciples had been sealed by the ancient expert and the Soul Demon had no leader, the current great world would probably be an abyss of suffering. Xiao Yan remained silent after hearing this. Although he didn't have any feelings towards the Soul Demon, the hatred he felt from the soul race of fighting Qi continent was no less than Jade Fairy's. Forget it. Let's not talk about this anymore. After 1,000,000 years, the number of experts in the great world had reached a terrifying number. It's not 1,000,000 years ago now. If the Soul Demon dares to appear, those old antiques of the great worlds won't sit idly by. Jade Fairy exhaled. She chuckled and did not mind at all. By the way, you are going to the Yunluo Academy, right? This place is not far from the Myriad Spirit Prefecture. With your speed, if you walk, you will arrive in about half a month's time. Once you reach the Myriad Spirit Prefecture, you will not be far from the Yunluo Academy. Turning her head, Jade Fairy smiled gently at Xiao Yan. Before the latter could speak, Jade Fairy suddenly stretched out her hand and gently stroked Xiao Yan's cheek. She smiled sweetly and said, "You first heal your injuries. I will protect you." After she finished speaking, her body leapt and arrived in the sky. With her back facing Xiao Yan, her beautiful eyes contained a complicated expression as she looked into the distance. Xiao Yan opened his mouth, but in the end, he didn't say anything. He quietly sat down cross-legged and started to adjust his breathing. With the protection of an expert like Jade Fairy, he did not have to worry about anything. He observed his nose and quickly entered into a state of cultivation. Jade Fairy, who was in the air, lightly stepped into the void. She turned her head and looked down. Xiao Yan's breathing was uniform. The origin monarch qi around his body slowly flowed, and a faintly discernible feeling of breaking through spontaneously arose. Not bad. If you work hard, you should be able to break through to the 6 paths monarch spirit. Jade Fairy looked at Xiao Yan. The corner of her mouth revealed a trace of a smile. It was a beautiful smile that could not be described with words. After a long while, Jade Fairy finally sighed. She extended her hand to touch her forehead and laughed bitterly. Her body slowly landed beside Xiao Yan. She looked at Xiao Yan's determined face and involuntarily extended her hand. Her hand stopped when it was about half an inch away from Xiao Yan's face. Jade Fairy's hand trembled slightly. She withdrew it and gently smiled at Xiao Yan. Her pretty eyes revealed a complicated emotion. Immediately, she stood up and gently waved her hand, forming an Emperor Cultivation Expert's Origin Monarch Qi protection around Xiao Yan. She hesitated for a moment. Jade Fairy took out a jade pearl and gently placed it under Xiao Yan's feet. After which, she resolutely turned around. With a flash, her lovely body soared into the sky and rushed in a different direction from the Myriad Spirit Manor. Not long after Jade Fairy left, Xiao Yan's tightly shut eyes slowly opened. At the same time, a powerful aura shot out from the top of his head into the sky, causing the surrounding rocks to shatter. 6 Monarch Spirit. 2 Xiao Yan slowly opened his eyes. He clenched both of his fists tightly, and a majestic energy flowed through his body. All the injuries in his body had been fully healed because of his advancement. He raised his head and saw that Jade Fairy was nowhere to be seen. While Xiao Yan was surprised, he found the jade pearl beside him. When he saw the jade pearl, the joy on Xiao Yan's face froze when he saw that he had broken through to the 6th Dao Monarch Spirit. He looked at the dusky sky and understood what was going on. As his soul force lightly seeped into it, Xiao Yan calmed his heart. Soon, Jade Fairy's ethereal voice sounded from within. "Little brother Xiao Yan, thank you very much. You have helped me obtain the White Jade Spirit Lotus and restored my original strength. This favor is something that I cannot repay in my heart." Jade Fairy giggled. Her voice was no longer as charming as before. Instead, it had a few more clarity of mind. "After helping you obtain the Earth Fire Profound Crystal Beast's heavenly core, I will also be leaving. For some matters of my own. The storage ring that I gave you previously contained a few secret arts from the Yin Scroll that I have mastered. If you have the chance, you can cultivate it for a while." Jade Fairy's words became heavier and heavier. It was filled with the pressure of parting. With your strength, even if you go to the Yunluo Academy, you will definitely make a name for yourself. That's all I can help you with. If fate brings us together in the future, let's meet in the Mingan Divine Domain. At the end of her words, Jade Fairy gently smiled and echoed in Xiao Yan's mind, causing him to remain silent. After withdrawing his soul energy, Xiao Yan looked at the jade pearl in his hand and fell into deep thought. He only smiled after a long time. He mumbled to himself, Mingan Divine Domain? Recovering the monarch flame left behind by my teacher, it just so happens that I'm going to Mingan Divine Domain. Xiao Yan lifted his head. The hand that was holding the jade pearl suddenly exerted force. With a crack sound, the jade pearl turned into powder. It disappeared in the wild wind in the desert. The Holy Rank Trials mission has been completed. Now, I can finally focus all of my attention on rushing to the Yunluo Academy. Xiao Yan narrowed his eyes. He found the direction of the 10,000 Spirit Mansion. His body moved and rushed forward. A powerful force crushed the huge rock under his feet. Regardless of whether it was the Yunluo Academy or the Mingan Divine Domain, it was a place that he had to go. No matter what it was for. Profound Yin Sect. Yin Jushuen endured the pain of losing his arm and returned to the Profound Yin Sect. He went straight into the inner chambers, and the intense pain that penetrated deep into his bone marrow couldn't hold it any longer. It suddenly erupted within his body, and even an Emperor Cultivation Warrior wouldn't be able to withstand it. Jade Fairy, we will tear you into pieces. Looking at the empty robe, Yin Jushuen's eyes were red, as if blood was dripping from them. Who is it? All of a sudden, a tearing sound could be heard from the inner chambers. Although Yin Jushuen's internal injuries were extremely severe, he was still injured. Immediately, he shouted out in a cold voice. Turning his head, he saw the man in the black robe appear in the hall with a pale face. His clothes were all torn, and his exposed skin was covered with disgusting and strange patterns. It's you? You still dare to come back? Yin Jushuen's beard and hair fluttered when he saw the black-robed man. His body moved, and a perfectly intact hand lifted the black-robed man by his neck. I was just saying that I could kill Jade Fairy with ease, but in the end, I couldn't even deal with that brat. It's fine if I ran away obediently, but now I dare to come back. Yin Jushuen's tone was cold. A cold glint surged within his eyes. The strength in his hand suddenly increased, and it almost broke the neck of the black-robed person. The black-robed person did not resist and allowed Yin Jushuen to pinch his own neck. His lips under the tattered black robe wiggled. His voice sounded from an unknown place, Sect Leader Yin, please calm your anger. I did not expect that red-haired brat to appear. I have also asked the sect leader before. You said that the red-haired fellow was not by Jade Fairy's side. Bastard. When Yin Jushuen heard this, the fury in his heart grew even stronger. He suddenly exerted force with his arm and the black-robed person was ruthlessly thrown out, causing numerous cracks to appear on the metal pillars in the hall. Yin Jushuen's 5 fingers trembled slightly. Because of his anger, his face was distorted. He never would have thought that the redhead would come out of Xiao Yan's body. If it wasn't for that guy, with the Earth-Fire Profound Crystal Beast and Sect Master Yin's strength, killing Jade Fairy would have been a piece of cake. The face of the black-robed man became even paler. The black patterns on his skin had also become much dimmer. Yin Jushuen's expression was cold and gloomy. Indeed, if it wasn't for that brat, killing Jade Fairy wouldn't have been a problem. However, the appearance of that brat had completely shattered the situation. He had killed the Earth-Fire Profound Crystal Beast with a single punch, causing their plan to fail. Yin Jushuen retracted his hand and looked coldly at the black-robed man. After a long time, he finally spoke in a cold voice. Jade Fairy has escaped. One of our arms has been cut off, and our strength has been greatly reduced. What do you want to do by coming here now? The black-robed man smiled faintly. Sect Master Yin is worrying too much. With my strength, I can't even touch a hair of yours. Yin Jushuen sneered, turned around, and returned to his seat. He said coldly, even if I give you 10 more guts, you won't dare. Tell me, what are you doing here? The corner of the black-robed man's mouth revealed a trace of an undetectable smile. He said respectfully, we Gu Wu have a special ability that can heal physical injuries. Although Sect Master Yin's arm is broken, my ability should be able to be reattached in the future. Oh, Yin Juxuan raised his brows when he heard this, but he didn't show any joy. His eyes stared at the black-robed man like lightning, and he said with a hideous smile, "You'd better remember this. One finger is enough for our sect to kill you. Don't think about playing any tricks." The black-robed man said in an even more humble manner, "I don't dare. However, with my strength, after connecting my arm, I might be a little inflexible. I will need to use Origin Monarch cheese to nourish it for a long time before I can truly recover." After hearing the black-robed man's words, Yin Juxuan's eyes sparkled. He glanced at the area where his arm had been severed. Although it was no longer bleeding, the dense white bones were clearly visible. "What do you want to do?" Yin Juxuan's face showed no sadness or joy. He said coldly. The man in black slightly raised his head and took a closer look at Yin Juxuan's wounds. He then said respectfully, "The magic qi in our Gu Wu clan can heal our wounds. With Sect Master Yin's injuries, if I need to cover my wounds with the magic qi, new arms will slowly grow out. It might take nearly 10 days. As the black-robed man spoke, he stretched out both of his hands. A thick black qi spread out from his palm. The moment the black qi appeared, the black-robed man's pale face turned even paler. Yin Juxuan stared at the churning black qi in the black-robed man's hand. With his sharp senses, he could clearly feel that the black qi was filled with a life-like aura. Nodding his head slightly, Yin Juxuan looked at the black-robed man and said, "Tell me, what do you want?" The black-robed man smiled with great difficulty. His smile looked exceptionally ferocious. "The great Yin spirit arts of profound Yin sect, I have been hearing about it for a long time." Yin Juxuan sneered. "Another great Yin spirit arts." Yin Juxuan nodded and said coldly, "As long as you can restore our sect, I can naturally give you the great Yin spirit arts. But if you can't, don't even think about leaving this place alive." Hearing Yin Juxuan's threat, the black-robed man nodded his head and slowly stepped forward. Under Yin Juxuan's cold gaze, a thick black qi was about to cover the latter's wound. "Wait a moment." Suddenly, Yin Juxuan spoke to stop him. Under the puzzled gaze of the black-robed man, the former sneered and struck the black-robed man's shoulder with lightning speed. The sound of bones breaking suddenly rang out. "First, heal your wound." Ignoring the black-robed man's painful cry, Yin Juxuan lifted his eyelids and said faintly. The black-robed man glared at Yin Juxuan, but he did not dare to express his anger. He could only tremble and reach out his hand. His palm covered his shoulder, and as the black smoke filled the air, his shoulder, which had been broken by Yin Juxuan's hand blade, recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. Yin Juxuan nodded his head when he saw this. He removed the Origin Monarch qi that was protecting his broken arm and stared coldly at the man in black. The black-robed man exhaled a breath of air. His trembling hands covered Yin Juxuan's broken arm. Black qi covered his wound. Yin Juxuan instantly felt a comfortable feeling coming from his wound. The pain that had penetrated deep into his bone marrow also quickly dissipated. Seeing this, Yin Juxuan slowly removed the defense in his heart. This guy was honest. "Jade Fairy, when my son comes out of seclusion and fully comprehend the great Yin spirit arts, it will be the day of your death. Also, that Xiao Yan, if my son doesn't kill you, then I will." Just as he was thinking, Yin Juxuan's facial expression suddenly changed. Out of instinct, he wanted to shake the Origin Monarch qi out of his body, but he was shocked to find out that the Origin Monarch qi in his body actually didn't listen to his control. He. Sect Master Yin, it's not good to have so many thoughts now." The black-robed man raised his head, and a sinister smile gradually appeared on his face. The black qi on his hands had completely entered Yin Juxuan's wound. At this moment, Yin Juxuan's body had lost consciousness, and only his head remained clear. "What are you doing?" He saw that his body was unable to move. Yin Juxuan's expression turned extremely gloomy. He stared at the black-robed man, wanting nothing more than to devour him. He. The great Qi Venerable King is in deep slumber here. Yin Juxuan's identity is more conducive to the recovery of the Venerable King. The smile on the black-robed man's face became even more ferocious. At the same time, his body gradually turned illusory. Like a cluster of black qi, it entered Yin Juxuan's wound. "You want to occupy our sect's body?" Yin Juxuan was shocked. For the first time, he felt panic in his heart. He. "Don't worry, Sect Master Yin. From now on, I am you. In my hands, the profound Yin sect will walk out of this mountain range under the lead of the venerable king, causing the entire great world to tremble. The black-robed man's voice became weaker and weaker. His entire body turned into black qi and entered Yin Zhuxuan's body. Yin Zhuxuan's eyes were wide open in anger. He couldn't say a word. There was no feeling in his body anymore. After the black-robed man entered his body, Yin Zhuxuan's eyes lost all feeling. A long time later, a cracking sound could be heard from somewhere. In the next moment, Yin Zhuxuan, whose body was stiff, suddenly stood up. He cast a cold glance at his body and laughed. His smile was full of ferociousness. Swoosh! A red light flashed in Yin Zhuxuan's eyes. A new arm instantly grew out of the wound on his broken arm. It was exactly the same as the original arm. Hu. From now on, I will be called Yin Zhuxuan. Your Majesty, the day of your awakening is not far away. In the inner chambers, the newborn Yin Zhuxuan muttered to himself as his eyes flickered with a blood-red light.